Today I wanted to discuss with you disaster recovery, or DR, by showing you how IntelliMagic Vision Software as a Service identified a major gap in a customer's DR plan. Most businesses have a disaster recovery plan that they can execute if a crisis occurs at the primary site. For some, it is relying on restoration from off-site tapes. For others, with more real-time recovery objectives, it means replicating all updates to a secondary site and creating gold copies of those updates periodically so that you can recover to a certain point in time. This was the case for one of our customers. They replicated updates to a secondary site and then made a copy of the updates periodically such that they could recover quickly if needed. The workload pattern normally observed during operations was significant spikes in throughput from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Without backing up the replicated data, they had no point in time to recover to, and their DR plan was worthless. It is not about how good your plan is, it is about how good your execution is. With IntelliMagic Vision Software as a Service, we monitor disaster recovery for execution against plan. In the case of this particular customer, we identified a problem with the DR plan by watching the workload execution on the DR site. When the pattern changed significantly, we notified the customer. In this short video, you will see how we identified a problem with the DR plan. In this chart, you see the total throughput in megabytes per second for the secondary SVC named SVC_CLSTR_F and its backend disk V7000_F. Every day, there is a massive spike in throughput exceeding 600 megabytes per second and lasting for several hours. Let's look at the workload pattern over the week. You can see from this chart that every day there is a spike in throughput from 12 a.m. through 5 a.m., declining sharply at 5 a.m. Now let's look at what happened to the workload after 8/26/2015. By changing the end date to 8/31/2015, we can clearly see how the profile changed dramatically. Since we know that the throughput that happens every night is a result of a regularly scheduled backup via flash copy task, and the throughput has dropped significantly, we concluded something was not right and notified the customer. After some persistence on our part that something was wrong with the DR execution, further investigation was done, and it was identified that the scripts that normally run the flash copy were not running. Let's take a look at the pattern after the DR scripts were brought online again. Note how the peaks in throughput after 9/8/2015 return to the levels we observed in the data before 8/26/2015. This confirmed that the DR plan was again being executed according to plan. In this brief video, we demonstrated that the IntelliMagic Vision SaaS, or Software as a Service solution, was able to identify issues with the execution of the DR plan, resulting in significant risk avoidance. If there would have been an outage at the primary site during this period when the DR plan was not executing properly, it would have been disastrous. Fortunately, the IntelliMagic Vision Software as a Service solution identified the issue and worked with the customer to resolve it. In the end, it is not about how good your plan is, it is about how good your execution is. For more information on how IntelliMagic Vision Software as a Service can reduce risk and improve performance in your storage environment, please contact us at info@intellimagic.com.